intro. Oh no, you do intro,
Oh,
and
really?
I'll be like, it's TBZ, and then you'd be like, yeah, and then I just playing, and this is game 3, blah blah blah, and then I'll be like, these are the enemy dudes.
Yeah, right. Oh, shit. One sec.
Yeah, say 3, 2, 1, go.
3.
And remember the minute marks. And is the thing covered?
Yep. It's all good.
Okay, cool.
3, 2, 1, go. Hey, what's up, guys? It is BLTdAXn here from ETR Gamer, and with me is...
TBZ.
Alright. And this is actually game number 3 of the 2v2 games we were playing. So if you haven't seen the other ones, make sure you check them out. Spoiler alert.
We'll put links to those in the description and on the videos.
Yeah, bit of a spoiler. We're currently at 2-0. 2 wins, 0 losses, so that's pretty good.
Couldn't be any better. Now let's introduce our opponents. We have in the bottom left corner Zerg Teal, we have Sunji, and in the top left we have the purple Protoss Light Comet. Finally a good mix-up in the enemy race, as we have a Zerg.
Yeah, a bit of a
Set of
difference.
Terran.
We had Protoss Terran last couple of games, so this might be a bit more interesting mirror matchup.
Exactly, and that's what I like to see. Myself better than the opposite Zerg. Yeah, but not much to say at this point. I mean, I got the Overlord scouting going on for myself. They got the probe heading across the base, just a little bit behind the speed of BLTdAXn's probe. Just checking out what's going on.
And as you can see, we both of us Protoss players, we're going to be walling off just because of the enemy Zergs. You can never trust them. And
Oh,
you
you
can
can't
see
trust
here he scouts TBZ putting up his spawning pool and gas. Oh, you had a bit
And,
of a different opening this game, did you?
No, same as the last couple of builds that I've done. And we see the enemy Zerg doing exactly the same, with a bit of an earlier gas, except a slightly less speedy pool as well.
That's just a bit of a trade-off you have. They might be able to get their speed out a little bit earlier, but they won't be able to get that queen out as quick to get those injects and things going.
Exactly, and I personally prefer to have the queen and it's, just a few lings that don't have speed a bit quicker, because it's more important to kind of have that early game and get the production of drones up rather than the speed in your lings. I mean, it's good for scouting, but at this point in the game, it's just, or of any game, it's just probably better just to delay that speed just a little bit, because you don't really need it. It's not really necessary. Get more drones going, get the economy pumping.
And as we can see, the Protoss player, they're going fairly standard, keeping that wall off going. Croning out a Zealot at the moment. And I just have a go at blocking this Zerg player's expansion. I wonder if he was actually going for it, but anyway, I blocked it, so I'm happy with that. And he responds by chucking up 2 spine crawlers in his main. That's a bit of a strange decision, I think.
A very, very strange commitment. Decision. I'm gonna kind of go to his view and see what he sees. And at this point, he sees in my base a pool, the gas still going up, and that's very, very old scouting information. BLTdAXn has that, and a cyber core got that up as well. And so he doesn't really see any sign of a rush. He just sees that we haven't expanded, and that's not really good enough information to kind of really tell you that we're going to be rushing. As you can see just now, his Overlord scouts my expansion as well, so he's probably I guess a bit depressed at the fact that he's blocked down 2 spine crawlers, not just 1. He's got a nice little block off in the main as well, so he was expecting a bit of a rush, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Might have been expecting Lings to come in or something, but as you can see, that didn't happen, and we actually responded by wanting to get our expansions going. So TBZ's got his going down. I'm just building a few more sentries until I feel safe to grab that other expansion.
Exactly. Yeah, although we don't see the enemy Protoss going down with expand, but that's kind of natural, considering the Zerg should be a bit quicker. But another thing to note, the Zerg hasn't popped his expansion down either. He's actually already got his layer up. He's grabbing that roach speed, and you can see my lings coming down to check out what's going on and see they haven't expanded, and grabbing this easily eaten up stalker here, and a probe just to I guess take down a bit of what they have at this point, which isn't much considering the fact they haven't expanded. BLTdAXn, nice pylon placement down here at the bottom of the, or middle of the their bases there.
Oh yeah, I got my probe in there and tried to hide it, just to I don't know, see later on it's useful. You can scout their base or anything if they don't see it. And as we can see from TBZ, the baneling nest is going down at 6 minutes 40 mark. That's a pretty early baneling nest, I'd say, when he's gone for that expansion, because we weren't looking to be overly aggressive. That was more of a defensive baneling nest, just because I don't know, we sort of figured there must be some kind of all-in or something coming from these guys because they haven't got their expansions going.
Well, exactly, and then I only just scout this Zerg's base and see what he has, and that's a bunch of roaches crammed up in his mineral line and 2 spine crawlers, and it's very interesting because I was kind of thinking, well, I've got a defensive baneling nest up, but why not use it? And I have a bunch of lings above his base, kind of ready to just morph into banes and do a bit of damage, but I guess not, because he's really turtled up quite heavily.
And as we can see, yeah, TBZ responds from that by cancelling his baneling nest, and he's actually decided to focus more on his lings and things. And what is it that you were taking to this game?
Well, at this point, yes, I was going to go ling baneling muta and infester if I was up to that. But at this point, I kind of was a bit scrambled in terms of what I was going to go for, because yeah, he kind of had that weird setup where he was only just getting the expansion now at like the 8-minute mark. He had the layer up, and it was kind of interesting to see because he's well, obviously you can see he's taken into burrowed roaches and he's heading to our bases now, but I was kind of only just at lings at this point and was looking to go forward, and I've grabbed all my gas at this point, as you can see, and I'm going to be going into the spy or air muta build.
And as we can see, Sunji, the opponent Zerg, he sneaks some lings into the base. He actually burrowed them and ran them across the whole map. So that's roaches. A bit of a strange move, but obviously I wanted to get a scout going. And as we can see, TBZ's already morphing his overseer, so if they try and burrow, he's going to know exactly what's happening. And
well, yeah, I do have the overseer already built, so. And yeah, he actually goes to attack it, and I'm forced to cancel that spire. And I really had no choice to pull my drones, and now I send in the lings to kind of deal with this attack. But I'd say I did see the layer up, but I didn't expect burrowed roaches to be rolling into my base at this point.
No, that's a bit of a strange move. You don't see that very often, roaches running the whole way across the map underground. And at this point, we didn't actually know if they'd had their expansions going yet, so that panel hadn't been very useful yet, but might play its part in another couple of minutes.
Well, exactly, BLTdAXn, and now at this point, that has done quite a bit of damage to me. I'm only just going to be chucking down my spire pretty soon, and they've got War Prism harassed down in BLTdAXn's base, denying some mining time, but we easily can defend against it. But a good job on the harass on the enemy team. It's quite good. Although our naturals are heavily, well, I guess they're almost saturated at this point, whereas they've only just really got their expansions up. So in that sense, we're ahead. But I do commend them for quite good harass play at the end, early game. Especially that roach burrow is quite interesting.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a strange move. And as we can see, I did completely wall off the front, just because, I don't know, we felt like we were ahead. We didn't think that they had any expansions or anything going for them, so we thought we could sit back on these 2 bases and just sort of get further ahead with immortals to kill the roaches, and TBZ's getting his spy going. So we didn't really have too much to worry about, so we figured we'd just take out the risk of more roaches running in.
Exactly. I just noticed something really cool. You know how when you start a game you choose your race and it's like they have a picture of each thing?
Yep.
I just realized the Zerg one's a changeling, and I was like, that's a pretty interesting unit to choose. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyway, sorry, just a quick note, I was like, what the hell? So yeah, they obviously has jumped into the base. It's kind of looking at what the hell is going on for us, and it does get quite a bit of information. My spy is now up, yet I'm not building many or any mutalisks at this point, because I'm really low on gas. War Prism play from Light Comet.
Use that pylon, warping some guys to their base. I actually wanted to try and focus down this hatchery, but it's not very successful. As you can see, they have 2 spine crawlers and a lot of guys to defend that with. So they're definitely not going to take too much damage from that. It only lost 500 hit points, so it's probably not the most effective trade, but you can sort of afford to do that when you're a bit further ahead.
Exactly, and it's still things like that though that will help you out later in the game, and keeping them on edge is I guess a little extra thing that you can be focused on doing, and keeping them even producing units at that a point like that. It's like, oh well, if there's attacking, I better make some more units and make sure I'm doing. At this point though, we're gonna push our armies out a bit through that very very small hole we have allowed BLTdAXn has got for us. My lings kind of crumple through, and get a bit more map control. Basically, I'm just producing a few more mutas now, and I want to do a bit of harass with them, kind of do some damage if possible, and make sure we're not letting them expand too much over the top of us.
And as you can see here, I actually had, what is that, 8 sentries with full energy, and I'd forgotten I actually built hallucination. So I'm pretty cut now that I didn't use any of that, just because it is so good at scouting, and I don't know, you can just sort of hallucinate, I don't know, an army basically. I could pretty much build a whole army with that. All those hallucinations. So it's
That's
really good
awesome.
for, like, decoy play or whatever.
Huck vs Idra.
Ah, yeah.
God, that game is one of the greatest games.
Getting
Anyway, now I'm I'm running a few lings up to double check the bases, do a bit of scouting, and they too are still in 2 base. So.
Yeah, and as we can see, the Protoss player, he is doing constant sort of Colossi production, so he wants to build up a... Ooh, TBZ gets caught a little bit, but he managed to save most of his lings. And it looks like coming up to the 16-minute mark, they're looking at doing a big attack.
They are, and
side.
just watching that Protoss attempt to trap my lings, I have to say, I think that worked out really badly for him. He chucked down so many force fields, man, and he didn't really get many of my lings.
And yeah, I guess at this
Although
point,
they did force the cancel on my hatchery.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
And at the same time, the Zerg players move around the bottom. He doesn't actually have very many units at all.
Yeah, he doesn't, does he?
That is, yeah, not a very big army. If we look at the army supply, yeah, I guess we're in pretty similar numbers, but yeah, he's just looking.
I could have focused down those Hydras there with my Mutalisks. I really didn't know how many. Well, I think I did choose the correct option though at this point, because I mean, you never know how many Hydras they're going to have, and if I lose too many mutas, then it's almost game for me. Mutalisks do die fast, but they can do lots of damage if you use them well.
This is actually really risky of them straying this far off the creep though, because those Hydras, they are not going to be able to run back in time. They're just so slow off creep that...
They are the worst off creep. Has he got the range upgrade? I'm just going to double check. Yes, he has, and just like any Zerg, if you ever build a Hydra and you don't have the range upgrade, you may as well just GG the game pretty much instantly.
It's definitely really effective to get.
Yeah. Okay, I'm massing up a few Hydras now. I've got excuse me, Mutalisks. I'm just under 20 mutas. I've got to keep up on my injects. Unfortunately, not the Stefano of this world, but yeah. So myself, I'm actually trying to get a base up, and they denied my one at the top, which is unfortunate. But I'm going to try and pop another one down there. As you can see, I've got a drone heading up there now. But as you can also see, a bunch of Colossus Sentry and Zealot army waiting at the bottom of the base of that.
Yeah, that is a scary army, almost at 200 supply. It's about to be maxed out with that many Colossi. That's definitely not something to take lightly. With all these roaches from Sunji to sort of buffer, yeah, you know, we can't be confident going against something like that.
Exactly, and my supply is quite low actually, because I've just got a huge bunch of lings, and it does look like a lot, but they're only, remember, I guess the number of lings you got, half of that is the supply, so they're not worth quite much. And I do have a lot of minerals, so I could be building a lot more lings, and it looks, that's the deceptive thing about playing Zerg and going lings, because the thing is, you look at your lings, you're like, oh yeah, I have a huge bunch of lings, I must have a big army, and then you don't really keep a track of your supply and realize you could be building so much more. And if you have an engagement where you could have, 50 supply more worth of lings, even just lings, it's so pivotal in the game. So I mean, I've only got my 2-1 for my lings as well, so I'm lacking on the upgrades there too, so got to keep an eye on that.
And as you can see, I'm able to deny this base from being really effective at all. I decided to try and blink around and kill some of the Colossi out of position, but this ends up being a pretty risky position for me, so I decided to force field them off and try and run, especially with those roaches coming up now. But overall, that wasn't too bad. I didn't lose that much. Managed to, yeah, I think I picked off 3 Colossi or something, so that's definitely not too bad.
Very helpful in terms of the engagement that's coming up. I was actually unaware. It was pretty bad communication on my part. I was unaware he was actually fighting them. But here comes the engagement now. I'm kind of stuck. We were in a really bad position, but I can send my lings in at this point now, and my mutas come to the aid of BLTdAXn's army. Huge muta engagement there, trying to take down the Colossus and do as much damage as possible. Lost all my lings already.
Yeah, as you
Let's
can see,
head
that is
into
a
the
lot of
production
mutas.
tab.
So
Yeah, mutas, not the best at if they're by themselves on a one-on-one engagement, but here they proved they're really, really good, especially for sniping those Colossus. And I can get good position at this point because BLTdAXn's lowered the amount of dudes they've got in here. But
yeah, as we can see,
take
in
down
terms
those
of their
Colossus.
anti-air army, they only have these stalkers. So TBZ sort of tries to make the most of that, kill off the stalkers and things, and then he can deal with everything else because they can't even attack up.
Exactly, they only just get some Hydras in now, but once you were saying before, they're off creep, so those stalkers can bleak in. I've got some lings just getting surrounded. They just lost so many Hydras for nothing really there. And they had them built because of the mutas, I'm assuming. I wouldn't see why they would have them for any other reason. But yeah, as you can see, they lost them so easily just then. It's pretty silly on their part. But hey, I'm not complaining. Just got my bases up at the top. And they were going for the gold there as well.
Yeah, we're able to deny that. That's definitely good. And as we can see, I tried to do some sort of harass down here. I managed to get them to cancel their expansion, but then I had to fight against those stalkers, and that's not something you want to be doing with zealots.
With zealots, no, that is not. And I lose the base at the top, unfortunately, so I am still very far behind. My supply at 114, the enemy Protoss Light Comet at 99, so he lost a lot in that last engagement, and the enemy Zerg at 121, so actually, I'm behind, but they tend to be pretty much where I am, and BLTdAXn at 140 supply, so we all lost quite a bit in that engagement, but in terms of the units tab, I'm sitting at about 24 mutas, 40-50 lings, whereas the enemy Zerg has got about 23 roaches, 2 infestors, 11 hydras, so it's actually quite even at this point. Just the bases that are...
That can all change so quickly, because TBZ's got to watch out for those infestors. If he gets one good fungal growth off, then that's all of TBZ's mutas gone. That's... I don't know how many...
Especially how clumped I have them here, and we're going into this engagement with the infestors there, and I do remember specifically telling BLTdAXn to focus them down just to pretty much escape the fact that these mutas could get clumped up and fungled really badly. More mutas coming in to the aid of my current count of muta, which I'm now at 32. Taking down their army quite easily at that point there.
And at the 24.5 minute mark, another big engagement coming up. It's actually pretty unusual to see, I don't know, I guess this many engagements at 24-minute mark. I think it's been a pretty active sort of game. We've been fighting over these center bases, and they're just not able to get them, so they both GG out.
There we go, and that is GG for Game 3 with TBZ and BLTdAXn.
Yeah, thanks for watching. That was 3 from 3. That was pretty lucky.
Yeah, it was.
It was
Great
3
games,
consecutive games, by the way. They were all played after each other, but it did happen after a bit of a losing streak, so maybe we were versing some worse opponents or something, I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, we only really lost one game, and these 3 games were really good, and we wanted to show you guys them. Thanks for watching, and we're glad to have to show you some of our StarCraft 2 action.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.